Good evening, students of Marketing 101. We are going to continue our conversation about marketing principles. In last session, we talked about the principles of marketing and how internal marketing and external marketing should be in alignment. In today's session, we are going to talk about the customer satisfaction, which is an important part of your marketing strategy and your marketing activities. Let's see. I remember that when I bought a watch from a famous brand, I was unhappy. And I'm sharing with you why I was unhappy because I expected something else from that brand. And when I bought that watch and I started using that watch, I noticed how difficult it is to adjust the time and how difficult it is to navigate through the menu of that watch. So I was so dissatisfied with my purchase. Have you had any experience with a purchase that you've done in the past and you've been perhaps unhappy or happy? Can you put that in the chat box for me? Yeah, any experience that you've had about a particular brand. It's for educational purposes, so um, you can freely share your experience with us, with your classmates. Thank you. As I said, it is very important to measure the customer satisfaction from two point of views. Um, from the business owner point of view, it's very important to count and to measure how customers and clients like your product or service. Are they going to come back and redo their purchase, or are they going to walk away and never come back? It affects our financial situation. If they come back and they do more um, purchase, we will see a growth and expansion in our business. But if they don't come back, the brand will start to fade and to go down. From the customer or consumer point of view, it is very important because we can make our purchasing decisions by uh, based on the level of satisfaction that we have from a certain product. If you use a sandwich, if you buy, let's say, a burger that you're not happy with the quality of that burger, most likely you will not go back to that burger brand again and repeat your purchase. So it affects customers and consumers purchasing decisions. By end of this lesson, I hope that you will be able to explain 3 levels of customer satisfaction that we will go through. Is there any previous knowledge from the levels of satisfaction here? If you have, if you know what are those, you can put that in the chat box. Is there anybody here that has worked in the customer relationship management? If you have worked or if you have experience in customer relationship management, you know that one of the functions of marketing is counting and measuring how many people are unhappy, how many people are happy, and how many people are neutral. And these are 3 levels of satisfactions that usually are measured in companies and organizations and small business units and large business units about their customers and clients. Um, there are different sources of expectation that I'm going to explain them in this slide. There are actually 4 sources. We want to see how the expectation of a brand is formed and is created in us. We may hear something about a product, and what we hear from word of mouth, it creates an expectation in us. When I'm telling you about a Tissot watch that I use, and I start to say something good about it, or perhaps something bad about a brand, it creates an expectation in you. It starts to develop an image in the customer's mind and the client's mind about that brand. So word of mouth is actually one of the most important sources of creating expectations in clients and customers. Another source of expectation is the advertisement that the company does. When you watch an advertisement on the TV or perhaps on the internet or Instagram or on social media on Facebook about something, you hear that come and study business in our business school and you will be such and such. And then you go to that school and the service and the education that you receive from that school is lower than what you have promised through the advertisement that they have done on social media. You may become disappointed and dissatisfied. So one source of creating expectation is actually the advertisement, is the promise that the company advertises. Previous experience, if you have used a certain product or service in the past and you have an image in your mind, you know that your experience has been something. It creates an expectation in you. When you go to that brand again to repeat your purchase of that product or service, you go with that image that you have in your mind. You go with an expectation actually, and that expectation comes from your previous experience with that brand. And the brand itself, we expect certain quality from BMW. We expect certain quality from Mercedes-Benz. We expect certain quality from HP. We expect certain quality from Acer or other computer brands. The brand is a promise. The brand is a promise of an expectation for the customers and clients, saying that, hey, come to us, we promise to deliver that certain level of quality to you. So as you can see here in the arrows at the right side of this slide, you can see there's an arrow for showing the expectations and there's an arrow for showing the perceptions. Expectation is what we expect from a brand to deliver, and perception is what we perceive after using that brand. And if there is a difference between these two, it affects our level of happiness. If these two arrows they match, we will be happy, and if these two are not in alignment and we perceive something different from what we promised for, then we will be unhappy. These are three levels of satisfaction, as I mentioned. When perception exceeds the expectation, the customer or client is delighted and satisfied. When the perception is equal to expectations, that is, I received what I expected, nothing to impress me, nothing to make me feel delighted or excited. There's no excitement, there is no delightfulness. I just received what I was supposed to receive. And if perception is lower than expectation, this is something really bad. This is where the client or the customer will be unhappy and dissatisfied. Okay, is there any questions so far? You can put your questions in the chat box for me, or you can email them to me after the class. When am I what? Is there anyone can provide a brief summary of what we just reviewed? You can put them in the chat box. When we are happy, when we are neutral, and when we are unhappy and unsatisfied. Very well done. Okay, so as the summary, we talked about the importance of measuring customer satisfaction, it's very important that where are you going to go, where are you heading to. With this level of customer satisfaction, is your business going to survive? Is your business going to grow and develop, or is your business going to decline and you will lose loyal customers because you're not delivering what you're promising, so they will not come back. The sources of expectation and how it is formed in the clients. We talked about 4 sources: word of mouth, advertisement, brand, and previous experience, sorry. When you use a brand, when you use a burger, when you use an ice cream and you have an image, you go to that brand with the image that you have in your mind. So previous experience creates expectation from that brand. Perception is a comprehensive experience. As I said, interaction that people have with the sales department, with the after sales department, agents or representative of that particular brand can impact and can change their experience. Sometimes you get a very, very good product. Imagine that you're purchasing a bicycle, but the person that is representing the company as the sales agent is not nice to you. It affects your experience and your perception of that brand. It's part of your experience. So perception is broader than the product or service itself. There are many other factors and elements that can contribute to our satisfaction and perception from that brand. And we talked about 3 equations and 3 levels of happiness and customer satisfaction that can happen when you purchase a product or when you experience a service. Thanks for participating in our class today. I enjoyed the participation. I will send you some questions after the class. Please contemplate, take a moment to reflect on the concept that we discussed today. Send me any questions that you have. I'm more than happy to answer your questions, and see you in the next session. Bye now.